So it is now day 4. It is Monday, and we are about to head out and go look at some. So we're about to head out and go look at some castles and some monuments and different things that they have in this area. Right now, we're staying at the Abbey Hotel in Roscommon. Somebody just walked by the window.
Christmas. This is
Alright, so we're out here at the Roscommon Castle. It consists of a quadrilateral enclosure with a D-shaped tower at each of its 4 corners, a twin-towered gatehouse along its east wall, and a small gatehouse in the west wall. It's regarded by scholars as one of the finest Anglo-Norman castles in Ireland. Roscommon Castle was repeatedly attacked by the local Irish and was in Gaelic Irish O'Connor hands for over 200 years until 1569, when the O'Connor Dawn of the Day surrendered. In 1578, the castle and its associated estates were granted to Sir Nicholas Malby, governor of the Connaught. He transformed Roscommon Castle from an antiquated and probably dilapidated medieval castle into a magnificent fortified Elizabeth house. His son Henry, who died in 1602, inherited the castle and its estates. It remains as a military stronghold throughout the 17th century. Today, almost nothing remains of the walls of Sir Nicholas Malby's great house. Only the new windows opened in the old castle walls. Freezing. Okay, so right now we are at the mining experience. I'm not even gonna butcher the name. Arigna, I guess. Arigna Mining Experience. The Arigna Mining preserves the 400-year coal mining heritage of this area of the Arigna Valley, and our tour guide was by an ex-miner. The tour was about 45 minutes, and it's really cold underground. That we learned about the miners was their family life, and the family life in Arigna was pretty much the same as everywhere else. Women managed the household, children went to school and helped around the house when they came home from school. Other rural houses had crates, or like these grates where they needed in Arigna to burn coal as their domestic fuel. So wives and sisters and daughters that were old enough to recall Arigna pre the 1950s remember the hardships of the mining life. They pretty much prepared lunches, soda bread, sent their men out to work with bottles of what they called like a sweet milk tea. And pretty much the men, when they returned home, the white of their eyes would be shining out from their faces because their clothes and their whole body would just be stained black with coal dust. Wet clothes were taken off and dried before a fire. And then during the week, the miners only washed their hands and face, and their whole body was only washed on weekends. So they only bathed like once a week because of how dirty they would get each day. So there was no running water or showers, and people washed in baths that were placed in the middle of the kitchen floor. So the weekends were really busy for them, from washing clothes and just preparing for next week's work. So it's said that the Arigna was the first and last place in Ireland where coal was mined. Industrial activity first began there in the 16th centuries, and since then, events of every major era of Irish history had shaped its story.
You would have two sets of railway tracks. One bringing full hutches coal out of the mine, the other one bringing empty hutches in for us to fill. Continuous wire rope would run from here into the mine itself for a turn wheel 20 inch out here, this way. Now if you take a little read of that there, if you can go taste of things during the day. Again in the evening time, we always stop here, said a wee prayer, thanking God that you got out safe. Now those times, unlike now, there's very little in the line of health and safety, so maybe we thought this is out. Now the three ships, one miner, would keep that wee Sacred Heart on. The age that start, some people started as young as 12 years of age. It was in your own interest to start as young as you could. Now there's a lot of different mines, likewise a lot of different mine owners. Now at the end of that, there are like going lads. Let them up there, no? There was a lot of dust from coal, obviously, and we used a tremendous amount of explosives. So we need air circulation at all times. That's the air capture. We drill the rock, we glue it down, it's what we see outside. We drill up again, glue the rock, into what send it outside. We kept at it and at it until we came to the top of the mountain. It's about 195 foot up there, that fan pulling the air around the experience. Now, for the experience, we've done on and off during the day, because if you had it on all of the time. Now that man there is in the front of our brochure. No better man to be on. His name is Eugene Park. I wasn't down in the mines, I was sitting in drawing coal from Eugene. I was a small fella, he was giant to a man, big square shoulders. I'll admit, you know, I kind of was half afraid of him. But that's what we crawled out of in 1990. That's your working area known as the property. Now the mines in Arigna were all adrift mines. We never went down a shaft like other places in the world. But every step that we walked, that's just a little section. But every couple of 100 yards you cut that rope in two. You took down that wheel and frame, you moved to the yard.
We wanted to do the Elfin Heritage Trail, but we pretty much ran out of time. By the time we got there, it was already closed. But this windmill was built between 1720 and 1740. It's fully restored, still working, an 18th century windmill, and it's the oldest of its kind in the country. It's perfectly located to harness the winds sweeping over the plains of Elfin, and its unusual features included is a hatch that has a revolving roof and foresails that are turned into the wind by using a tailpipe attached to a cartwheel on a circular track. So that's it for day 4 in Ireland. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.